Hello everybody. Yeah, as I said in the video before, I have a Excel file I made 5 or 6 years ago where I compared all of the different units with each other. Yeah, it's a little late to probably show this because the most of you guys probably know every unit in the sleep, every stats of it, but maybe the one or other of you can, see something interesting in these files. So we're going to go through the infantry base first, then we're going to go through the AA base, through the AT base, tank base, proto base, air base, and all of the buildings you can build. Every Excel sheet is built the same way. Let's look at the top row. First we got the nation, then we got the name of the units, then we got the price per unit, then we got the armor, if it's infantry, a truck armor, or a real armor, then we got the speed per unit, and then we got 3 weapons. Every weapon has the categories type, name of the weapon, distance, how far can it shoot, how much damage does it do against buildings, how much damage does it do against inf, how much damage does it do against tank and against air. And this is the same for every weapon. Yeah, the colors. Let's go through the colors. So let's start with the first category, armor. Green is always the best. So for this here, 2 is the best armor you can get for the infantry base. It's a tank from France, H39. It's got an armor 2. Next best category is blue. So you can get a few trucks or recons with an armor 1. Next color is orange. And the worst color is red. So why is infantry and truck different? Yeah, so my opinion is, for example, if you have fighter bomber airplanes and you send them against a truck, he's gonna one-shot him with one shot. But infantry mostly takes 2 or 3 fighter bombers. Yes, infantry and trucks are both the same vulnerable against RT, but that's why infantry is orange and truck is the worst. Yeah, next category, same color, same colors. Green is the best. So the fastest is the Carro Veloce with 48 kilometers per hour. Also the Kübelwagen and the Willys are pretty fast with 47 kilometers per hour. Yeah, next category is blue, 39, 36, and then again 28. Orange and red is the worst of this category. Yeah, so most of the units have 3 weapons. If we look at, for example, the infantry guys from America, let's compare GIs and Rangers. So they both have bazookas. Both bazookas shoot 150 meters. But here you see a huge difference. The damage of the bazookas from the GIs is only 750 against the Rangers bazookas 2000. Also the Rangers have better damage with their grenades against buildings and infantry and against tanks. Also the rifles are better from the Rangers, 80 versus 20. Yeah, maybe we can compare now the best infantry units per nation. Yeah, so what do we see here? The speed is the same for all of them, 28 kilometers per hour. The bazooka distance, all the same. But here we got a huge difference. The Sturm Grenadiers from Germany, the researched infantry, has 3,750 damage against tanks with their bazookas. All the others are the same except for the Granatieri. The researched infantry from Italy only does 750 against tanks with their bazooka. Yeah, and that's the way you can compare stuff here. So let's look at the next base. So yeah, maybe a tip for you if you want to look at this again and take your time. all you can do is push pause on the YouTube video and then look at it. Maybe one thing again, the France Legionnaires are pretty good also in with their rifles. They're the same as good as the Guardia from Russia. That's pretty cool. But the Legionnaires cost $10, so that's the major issue. $10 for infantry is pretty expensive. Okay, so let's go on the next base, RT and AA base. The sheets build up the same way: nation, name, price, armor, speed, weapon, divided by distance, building, infantry, tank, air damage. Yes, let's look at the first category, the armor. Yeah, we got the best is a Sturmtiger assault gun from Germany. He's got a armor 5. Next best are armor 3 and 2. Next category is armor 1, orange. And the worst is, in this case, infantry and truck, the same. Okay, so what's the fastest unit you can get in the AA base? Yeah, it's the ZSU 37 armored AA gun. Pretty fast, 39 kilometers per hour. Let's see how good let's compare this ZSU with the armored M19 from America just to see the stats. Yeah, so here's a big point. The distance, the range of the weapon is 550 meters for both, but you can see against air the M19 does 48 damage and the ZSU only 23, so not that good. Cost 20 and this 30. The armor is also better for the M19. Yeah, what's maybe interesting in this category is the Flak 88 millimeter. It can not only shoot against planes, but it can also shoot against tanks. And what's pretty interesting here is it can shoot 600 meters. That's further than any tank can go. But it's only infantry, so very vulnerable against arty, and it's very expensive, but it's got a pretty good range against tanks. Yeah, maybe we can look at some arty a little bit, the ranges. So the arty that can shoot the furthest is a obese, 2.4 kilometer. The next best categories are 1.6 kilometers, 1.2. Which one does the best damage against buildings? Yeah, the Sturmtiger. Oh, interesting, I didn't know that. The M19 does pretty good damage against buildings. Yes, it has to get close to the building, but still, it's pretty good. Okay. Then let's look at the next base, I would say. AT base. What can we see here? So what's the best armored unit you can get in an AT base? Yeah, it's going to be the Jagdpanther from Germany and the Su-100 from Russia. What's the fastest one? Yeah, the fastest AT gun is definitely the Semoventa. Yeah, and again we got a weapon here, the 90 millimeter from Italy. Yeah, it's also shoots 600 meters range, which is pretty far, because no tank can get that far. Yeah, also we should check out what's the strongest weapon against, and it's pretty strong, 400 damage. So what are the strongest AT guns you can get? It's the Jacksons, okay. Jagdpanther, okay, I understand. So they're all the same. The best AT gun per country has the same amount of damage and probably the same range. Yes, all 500 meters. Okay, then let's look at the next base. Tank base. What can we see here? Which has got the best armor of all? Yeah, tank base, sure. King Tiger has an armor 5, and the IS-2 also has a 5. Yeah, in the past I didn't realize this really. I thought the IS-2 had an armor of 4. but we'll see if we compare them with each other the difference. So the Tiger costs 50 and the IS-2 only 35. But we can see one big difference is the range is for the AT gun is 500 meters for the King Tiger, but for the IS-2 only 450 meters, and this distance can be a game changer. Also the damage it does to tanks is 480 compared to 338, but still it's got an armor 5. That's pretty good to know. What is also pretty cool is the Sol 40 France tanks have an assault gun with them. Can help out pretty good if you're going against AT guns, wooded kind. Then you got an assault gun with you and a pretty good tank for the early game. Yeah, probably a lot more to see in this file, but all you have to do is press pause and look at it. Take your time. Okay, let's go on the next base, the prototype base. Let's check out the best armor here. Yeah, we got a lot of units with armor 5. The T95, the Aver, Churchill, FCM, monster tank from France. Yeah, Italy's got a problem. I think Italy does not have one unit with an armor 5, but the Caro P26 are very cheap, 25 bucks, and have an armor 4. So if you have a lot of them, pretty good. IS-3 has an armor 5 also. So what's the fastest unit you can get? Yeah, okay. The flamethrower tank from Italy is the fastest one you can get from the prototype base. So what else is interesting here? Yeah, the AT guns. Let's compare the big tanks with each other. Okay, so maybe before we start with comparing the tanks, one thing that's interesting, the FCM tank from France also has AA gun. It's not that good, but it's okay to have, nice to have. Okay, let's check out these big tanks. So T95, distance 500 meters, damage against tanks 500. Oh, the mouse is a little bit stronger with regarding the damage. The Churchill, only 400 meters, only 300 damage. So not the best to get, I have to say. FCM, 500 meters range, 500 damage. And the same with the IS-3. What's the cheapest one? Yeah, the Churchill, but I wouldn't get that. I don't. Maybe you have another idea what it's good for, but I don't think it's the best tank at all. Okay, let's look at the air. So which is the fastest plane of all? Yeah, quite frankly, the German jet planes, 810 kilometers per hour. The next fastest are these with 720, and the next 630, the most of them. Yeah, here you can see these are the infantry guys, paratrooper guys you can get. Okay. So let's check this out. Which bomber does the best damage against buildings? Yes, the Flying Fortress 1042, also the Lancaster, also the PE-8 from Russia. Let's compare these three with each other. Yeah, so we got main problem for the Russian bomber is pretty strong, but it's very slow. 270 kilometers per hour is very slow. The fastest bomber is the Lancaster. Also price-wise, it's pretty good, $30. So maybe, yeah. There's a lot you can compare with this sheets. If you identify other things you think is interesting, please put it in the comments. Don't have that much time to go in it in detail. Just wanted to show it to you. Maybe it can help somebody out. You can probably compare the strengths of the fighter bombers. Let's do that real fast. I forgot which one is the USA fighter bomber. I should have wrote that next to each other, but let's compare this with a hurricane and a typhoon. With a Sturmovik, that's a pretty good fighter bomber also. So how strong are the rockets? Let's see how much damage they do against tank. Yeah, so the Typhoon is pretty strong against tank, but also the Sturmovik, same stats. Next best would be then this is the fighter bombers from America. 860. Ah, 1 second. The fighter bomber from Germany. Here is the stats for against tanks, so they're pretty good too. 1050, but they have bombs and not rockets. So this is the second best one, and it's pretty cheap, but it's pretty slow, I think. 450, yeah. Yeah, so I hope you can see some more things that's interesting to know. And at last, let's check out the buildings you can get. So the first category is, yeah, buildings every nation can get. Admins, depot, supply depots, secondary HQ. Yeah, what's pretty important, most of you probably know, the armor of each building. So the most armor, frankly, is with the HQ. The next best buildings regarding armor is secondary HQ. Blockhouse and the Marginal bunker are very resistant. Yeah, some of them have a, yeah, and what to say is admins, MG nests, outposts, and this RT position are very vulnerable. Only 250 armor, that's not much. You can take them down with 1 or 2 fighter bombers easily. That you should always keep in mind. Also, I know a depot, for example, you can take down with 4 or 5 French fighter bombers. So you can also do the same thing with a AA position or with a AT position. So you can take down these buildings pretty good with normal fighter bombers also. Yeah, some of the buildings, yeah, Blockhouse and Marginal bunker. Both have a flamethrower. This weapon does the same against tanks. The German AT goes also 600 meters, same as the Italian 90 millimeter position. Yeah, but the Marginal bunker, this is important, has 2 AT guns, so they can shoot two shots per time. That's pretty strong. But the AT bunker from Germany goes further. Yeah. So I hope for some of you this was an interesting video. Yeah, so I'm still gonna wait until I receive some replays. If not, I'm gonna maybe start contacting some of the people I know. From them I have replays now, if they're fine with it for me to show them. So if it's not gonna continue the channel, I'll say goodbye in a good way this time. Okay, then you have a nice day and maybe see you next time. Bye bye.